Hey there, and welcome to another devlog. And yeah, let's just jump right in and talk about the new enemies. The first new enemy is a rogue. She can have different types of weapons. She can have an arming sword and a dagger, or 2 daggers, or maybe even 2 arming swords. I'm also thinking about having one variant of the rogue that can use throwing knives, but I'm not completely decided on this yet, because that can get tricky on the animation side of things. The arming sword and dagger are not finished yet. I made the 3D models for them and they can be picked up in game, but they still need textures to make them look good. Let's now talk about the big new enemy. This one will most likely serve as a mini boss. I have not decided on a name for the enemy yet, so you can bring in your ideas if you want, but the big ass sword the enemy is using will be called the Bone Cutter. This enemy has some special attacks and the players will be able to also execute them if they are using the Bone Cutter. Because the enemy will serve as a mini-boss, I also created a boss health bar. The health bar will be triggered if you are in a certain distance to the enemy. Basically, the enemy has a box collider, which will get triggered if the character begins to overlap with it or runs out of the collider. If the character begins to overlap with the collider, the enemy health bar will get displayed on the player's screen. There is also new armor. As mentioned before, I want the enemies to drop the armor that they are wearing. The armor of the mini-boss is not implemented yet, but is the next in line. The rogue armor though is already implemented. You can also completely mix and match the different armor pieces with each other. Some mixes look more fashionable than others, but I still want to have every armor piece mixable. There's also another armor concept on the table after the mini-boss armor, which will be the demon flesh armor, which is basically an armor out of the flesh from the lower demons that are running around. This basically means you can wear his head with that grin as a helmet, and we all want that, don't we? Next up, there are some new weapons. First off, we have the Bone Cutter, which is the weapon of the mini-boss. This is the first weapon in the new weapon category of ultra grade weapons. These are very heavy, slow weapons that pack quite a punch if you hit your enemy. As mentioned before, wearing this weapon will grant you the special attacks that the mini-boss was using. I still need to add some more VFX to the weapon to give it some more impact. Next up, we have the Demon Claws. These are weapons from the fist weapon category. These are very fast weapons, ideal for fast hit and run playstyles. To make the weapons a bit more interesting, I also added dual wielding. You now can dual wield some of the weapons and their movesets will combine. You can, for example, use 2 Demon Claws, or you can use a Morning Star and a Demon Claw. I still need to fix some parts of the damage calculation with dual wielding, because at the moment the damage that dual wielding does is a bit too high. I also implemented archery. At some point I thought like, archery, that should be very easy and fast to implement. Well, that was a wrong assessment. Implementing archery took quite a while and I ran into some weird problems I needed to fix. It turns out letting the camera move to an aiming position and letting the arrow spawn at the bow position but still shooting the arrow to where the crosshair is aiming isn't that straightforward. But I figured it out and it works quite well and it is a lot of fun. There's still a bug with shooting the arrow in the direction of the enemy when you are locked on and are moving sideways, but I think I know how to fix it. So yeah, the game has archery now. There is also some news about the music for the game. I contacted an artist called SKELD and he allowed me to use his music. And this is, I couldn't be happier with this because I think the music that he's doing fits the vibe of Calamity perfectly. And also you may have noticed it because it was running in the video all along, all of the time. You can also check SKELD out on Bandcamp and listen to his music. The link will be in the description of this video. And another thing, there finally is a Discord. So many people ask me about if there is a Discord, when there will be a Discord, and finally there is a Discord. You can join the Discord with the link. I leave the link down below in the description of the video. Lastly, I took on a day job again, which will start in November. The day job is not in the industry or the gaming industry. It is a job as a chimney sweep, which I learned before studying video games. And yeah, this is a part-time job, which means the job will kind of cover my living expenses. Obviously, this means that I will have less time to work on the game, but on the other hand, it also ensures that I can keep working on the game without rushing anything. Like, I don't have to rush the game out and then it will be buggy or something like that. I can take my time and make the game how I want it to be. I will also keep doing these devlogs and also the dev diaries on Patreon. I only have to look into how often I will be able to do them because of the time constraints. But yeah, all in all, the development of the game will continue and I will be able to pay my rent. So it is kind of a good deal. And yeah, this also was it for this devlog. And yeah, I hope I see you guys in the next one and on Discord, maybe, if you want to join. But yeah, feel free to join the Discord and see you in the next one. Bye! A big shout out again to all the Patreon supporters. You guys are totally awesome. And a special shout out to the top tier supporters, which are 𝘿𝙤𝙨𝙘𝙤𝙧𝙙. Thank you guys so much for all the support.